Yeah.
There was two gentlemen and a lady.
Yes.
I know Ronnie had talked about it last month, and after he and I talked about it, I felt like it was a good idea to get it out to everybody, so you all had a chance to look at them. And I thought all three applicants were very good, so that's one of the things we want to talk about tonight.
Okay, perfect. All right, we'll call to order, Casson Park Board, Tuesday, November 17th, 2020. And did you guys look over the October 2020 minutes? Right.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, second?
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, minutes approved. Down to the new business. Again, down to the recommend board member applicant. What did you guys think? Did everybody get over it?
I like Sarah.
Yes.
I like her, she talks about fundraising and
Yes.
ideas more than just, oh, I've done this and done that. I don't
Yeah.
know, it's still like the guys have their resume out there and it's just,
Yes, that's just what I thought too.
I don't know.
You know, I had the same feeling.
Yep.
The first applicant, Wallace, he overqualified.
Yes, he could do Ronnie's job.
Yeah.
You know, but on the other hand, he's been around it, he's done it, he knows what it's gonna take.
True.
You know, the drive, the politics of it, I'm gonna say, even though we're still just a recommending board, so he has everything at his fingertips without having to learn already. So, and right, the gal, same thing, you know, talk about fundraisers, we need go-getters and
Mhm.
stuff like that, so it's kind of got the little weight scale there where to me equals both, so.
Yep.
So, I just off the first one that you're bringing up, when you guys keep saying he's overqualified, I don't look at it that way. I look at it, he's got a ton of experience in everything. You know, he's an engineer, he's gonna have budgeting experience, he's gonna come with a lot of great ideas that can move our park board and our city forward faster. You know, does it get fundraising? No. Do we need fundraising? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But he understood. And I guess maybe I should clarify, I didn't mean overqualified.
No, right, but I think.
But he has all the work experience sitting on his shoulders already, knowing what it's gonna take.
Yep.
And knowing what it does take, and knowing.
And he's worked with pools, he's worked with, you know, he's gonna come up with great ideas, might come up with ideas we've never thought of.
Right. He's been around it, he's done it, he's sometimes that's a great person to have.
So
with us.
Lee's had experience too though, so the third one, Lee Erickson, he had experience as
Yep.
well. But I don't know, I felt like those two just gave resumes and I just.
Well, I liked a lot about it, he's looking at helping with the trail system, he's working with the ice arena.
Ice arena. We've tried that for about 10 years and we've gotten nowhere.
Yeah, well, there's the group that's looking to take it over, complete and build a new one.
Yeah.
If they do that, then we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But he, I mean, he's got a good idea, I don't know, that's just my opinion.
Did you have any thoughts you wanted to add?
Like the gal. You know, I mean, they all have good qualities, you know, don't get me wrong, they're all good qualities, but, you know, she seems more down to earth and not putting herself out there like bragging herself up and, you know, I've done this, this, and this, and this, and, you know, we need somebody down to earth and ready to dig in the trenches, not, you know.
I'm gonna kind of uproot everything. And that's why I like Sarah too, it's just like she's so starting everything, so.
Is this, Tim, is this a position that we can bring two people on?
Well, typically they've kept an odd number on the board, because that means you have a ability not to tie on things. I mean, that's pretty standard. You know,
But it's not necessary.
No, I don't think it's necessary. You know, this is a city-created board, so I mean, if you recommended to the council that you wanted to bring in, you felt like they both had good things, or maybe two or three, or all three really did have positives and negatives. Two of them stood a little bit more out to me, but, you know, in the long run, my preference doesn't really matter. It's really up to you guys. And, you know, I think if you said, you know, you felt like you wanted to bring them both on, you know, I think that'd be fine. I mean, you can bring it to the council, and if the council's okay with that, I mean, you're not getting paid a lot to be here, let's put it that way, so I don't think it'll cost us a whole lot.
Here's my case, we're a recommending board, so, and it's not very often we have a 4-3 vote
Mhm.
on virtually anything at this point. Not saying it won't, but a 4-4 vote or a 3-3 vote going to the council's still gonna take
Mhm.
their side of things to make the decision regardless, even if we do have a,
Yeah,
you know, say a 4-3 in favor of, the council still could turn it down.
right, that's true.
So it's not like we need to have in other,
An odd number.
in other committees where you need to have that odd member.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
we're
arguing, you know,
saying-
I agree 100%,
So-
you know, I mean, if that's what you felt like, if you felt like you had a hard time deciding between the two of them, you felt like 2 members, you'd like to add 2, if the council's okay with that, I mean, I don't have any problem with it at all. For as far as I'm concerned, you know, it's great to get new people in, and I thought that all 3 of the applicants had some positive experience and had some ideas. You know, 2 of them have children, which is great,
Yeah.
because a lot of our parks are, you know, slated for kids, but that doesn't mean that somebody, even if they don't have kids, I mean, I don't have children, and I'm still interested in the park, so that doesn't mean it couldn't be, but I mean, I think that, you know, you've got a couple options. You could make a recommendation for 1, you could make a recommendation for both with the, you know, adding 2 members in the new year, or you could say, you know, we weren't able to come to a conclusion, you know, and then the council would just take the applications and look at them, and that's, you know, it's also up to you. So those are the 3 things I would say, you know, you wanna have a motion tonight for one of those 3 activities, basically, if that makes sense. And then, like you said, you know, make it 9 members and be 1 short for a little while, I don't know, you know, it wouldn't hurt me.
Well, sometimes it's just a matter of getting a quorum here.
Mhm. Well, that's true too, you know, 'cause
So-
not everybody's gonna make every single meeting, so that's
You know,
fair.
and now if you just say we need to have 4 out of 8 instead of 3 or 4 out of 7,
Mhm.
you know, quorum or an equal amount, just can't be less than, I don't know what, if 4.
You'd have to,
is
you'd have to
a
have
quorum?
5, you'd have to have 5
You have to have
out of 8
5?
to vote on something, yeah, but,
Okay.
but I mean, you know, suffice it to say, I mean, I think, it's a recommending board, like you said, and if you felt that strongly that you wanted to bring both of them on, I mean, more power to you. That's your recommendation, doesn't mean the council has to do it, so. Liza, you had a question?
Yeah, what is Chuck gonna do? Coleman, is he
Well,
gonna stay with us, or is he
I think
going off?
that was on the
'Cause
agenda, wasn't it?
If he's gonna go off, then that kinda turns everything around.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
then
guess
we're gonna
I
need
was under the impression
one
that he was
anyway
planning on
for him.
re-upping. Jan, I don't know if you have
As
any
far as
more
I know, I
information.
haven't heard otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't on the impression that he was planning on stepping down,
Yeah.
but at the same
Okay.
time, I don't know, because I haven't talked to him myself.
Right, right. And do we know what Ronnie thinks? I talked to him, last month before the meeting.
Mhm.
And, I know that he likes Sarah's, but then again, I don't know if these 2 are in yet.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
was
hers
aware of all 3 of
hers
them.
was the last one.
Yeah, I think he
Okay,
was aware of
so-
all 3 of them. I
Yeah.
think that he felt like they were all very quality applicants. His
Yep.
preference was to maintain a little bit more gender balance on the board.
Yes.
That was his, whether
Yes.
it's for good or for bad, that was his preference.
Yep.
And I know that's what he mentioned at the last meeting, but,
Yep.
I know that I really felt it was important that you all see all the applicants, because, you know, you wanna know what they're talking about, you know, and that sort of
Yeah.
thing, where they're coming from, so.
Yes, absolutely. So, what do you guys wanna do? Do you wanna vote on somebody tonight, or do we just, I mean,
Well, here's,
the count.
I know
so-
the mayor wants somebody as soon as he can, so he can appoint him by January.
Yes.
We'd like somebody
Agreed.
by no later than December meeting.
Right, that's fair.
I do know that much.
Do we wait to hear Ronnie's opinion, or do we?
Well, Ronnie
Go
kinda,
with-
I kinda got the impression last month that Ronnie said
Yeah.
her.
Yes.
Right.
That's
Agreed.
what I kinda heard out of him, I
That's
didn't
what I
know-
got out of him too.
I didn't know there was, who had applied or anything at that time, but I kinda
Me
heard of
neither.
her.
Mhm.
So to me, Ronnie was for Sarah, I thought, but I can make a motion if you're ready. My
well, just,
motion's-
I got one more question. So if we make a recommendation to take 2 and go forward,
Mhm.
and say Chuck re-ups, and then whoever comes up in 2021, say it's myself, I don't know, it's probably pretty close to that, and say I'm not gonna re-up,
Yeah.
can that go back to 7 members on the board, and you now have to keep 8? Which can sometimes be a problem trying to find people.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
Yeah.
you know.
So
it
I don't
certainly-
wanna be the, got 8, back to 7.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
don't
wanna be that guy
you don't
either,
wanna
but-
bounce around a lot.
Didn't we
We
have
went
8?
through that trouble
Yes, we
when
did.
they
We
were
had
trying to
8.
get me off.
Yeah.
I remember that,
No,
yeah.
it was only at the last council, and he appointed one extra person.
Yeah, didn't know that
Yeah,
that person
that-
wasn't, not
because by
going on.
resolution, it was, or ordinance, it was so many on the board, and.
Right.
Well, I mean, what I can do is, I would like to bring something to the council on Wednesday, tomorrow. What I can do is, I can, let them know that you've, maybe selected 2 candidates that you wanna study more, and then maybe we just have to plan on really making a decision one way or the other. And I can ask the council if they're, they'd be interested in allowing for 2 more members to come on. If that's what you'd like, you know, I don't think we absolutely have to make a decision tonight, but I do think for these folks too, it'd be nice for us to select, because
Sure.
some of these, I mean, I know the one application was in September, so they've been waiting
Yeah.
for 3 months, and I hate to string them along, so.
Mhm. Right. Right.
Any other comments, I guess?
Well, as long as you're bringing that up, they were here for 3 months. If we had an application that was been here for 3 months, how did we not hear about it until now? Why are we, it's November, why did we keep waiting for more applications?
Well, you canceled the meeting in September.
Yep,
Right.
but then
So, I mean,
October's.
In October, you talked about the 2 of them, I think, or 3 of them, and then this month's meeting would be 3 months. So, that's why, because they didn't have that September meeting.
Just making sure I couldn't
Yep.
remember.
No.
Too many meetings, I can't remember where I've been.
No, it all kind of runs together when it gets dark,
Agreed.
when it gets dark this early too, it's kind of like, oh, gosh, you know.
Right.
What would you like me to do?
Well, my opinion is Sarah, but if you want to suggest possibly 2, then we could just find out what the council wants to do, if they wanna take on.
Well, I have no problem with Sarah. Okay, who's the first gentleman?
Chris Petrie.
Chris,
Yeah.
okay. I think he's got a lot that might take, I guess I look at it a couple different ways. He's been there, he's done that, he may have a whole lot of insight that'll really help. That's where I'm taking Chris's side of it.
Yep.
And that might even give Ronnie a chance to say, great idea, now Chris, will you, he said, yeah, I'll take it upon my wing to do this stuff, because I've done this.
Right.
Versus relying on myself, where I may not have time, and Janet, and Roger, and, you know, so that might be a phenomenal help on this board as a recommending board, and he's probably gonna know that just as a recommending board. So that's where I think Chris would be my vote. Just knowing he's been there, I don't wanna take anything away from Sarah though.
Yeah.
True. I understand what you're saying, because eventually too, we gotta look at it as Ronnie is gonna retire, you know,
Mhm.
and we need to look at it as that too, is he's had more experience in the park than Sarah.
And
more than any of
Same when
us.
Ronnie does retire, if this is the case, it's Chris to be the one to step in and say, you know, until we find a new park and rec department head. And
Well, I don't know that that's really for us to say.
No.
I don't wanna
No.
overthink this.
No.
Yeah.
Because
Agreed.
I do think that,
That's
you
probably
know, it'd be
right.
premature, I would hate for Ronnie to feel
No.
like we're pushing on
Yeah,
him.
we don't
That's
wanna-
not what,
we don't
I guess-
wanna-
No, I.
When I looked them
got you,
over,
that
I'm
works
just
fine,
gonna
so.
put out what I thought. I thought they were all good.
Yep.
I think everything you said about Chris is true. The only, and I don't know if this is a drawback or not, he mentions the ice arena. And that is, to me, a sensitive situation where I don't know if there's any kind of
Connection.
pre-existing, I mean, he works with the hockey association, so I know that. And that can be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, I don't know. Like, maybe he's just bringing all of his ideas, that's great. What I don't want is, I don't want one member to get on here for just the reason of, I wanna push this project. I'm not saying that he would, I'm just saying, that was the only drawback I saw in his. With Sarah's, I mean, their potential is there, she doesn't really know a lot right now, so she's probably not gonna bring, you know, which is okay, because you guys are all very experienced, so it isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, to me, those were the 2 that I thought were the best applicants. And at least, you know, one for the skill set that he already has, but with a possible, you know, just, my concern is, because I know, like Jan said, right now, the EDA has talked to and Dan knows too, they've talked to the hockey association, they're looking at ice rinks.
Yep.
I don't know where that's gonna go. It's gone up and down before with councils and, you know.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. It's a $12 million facility, and now, of course, there's a reason there's 7 members here. You know, so that's the positive is, even if one person does get on and they have a agenda or something like that, you know, you guys, that's what it's intended for, is it's a balancing act. I think he'd be the easiest member to appoint, because he's gonna come in knowing everything that needs to be known, but in the long run, that was all I had, those are the two that I thought were stronger. It'd be, I mean, part of it, maybe we should figure out what Mr. Coleman's gonna do. You know, if he said, oh, I'm planning on getting off, and I don't know that, well, then, we don't even have to worry
I
about
don't
this.
foresee Chuck getting on.
Well, probably not.
Right.
No.
And I can see Chuck wants to.
That's the spot he wanted to be even when he was in council, so
Oh,
I
sure.
don't.
Well, I don't know, I mean, I just,
Yep.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't want us to make a recommendation that's gonna get shot down by the council either, because that
Mhm.
isn't gonna make you guys feel good either, and I have a feeling that, the mayor at least has an idea of who he already wants, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
Well, I'd
but-
feel good that if we send both to the council, and the council, if they decide to choose one, we have one of two that we moved on.
Well, and that's fair too, you could say, hey, we had a hard time deciding between, sounds like we have some mixed views on tonight's board, so.
I think we need to make a decision on one. I guess
Well,
I just,
Yeah, and after you said that about Chris, that's kind of what the problem was with the last person who was a board member.
yeah,
Came on just for one reason, and that was it. Didn't get anything accomplished, so done. You know, didn't show up,
yeah, I quit coming and,
so
yeah,
that's
I just.
a good point to look at too.
And I just feel like, I don't know, this guy has a lot of experience, and maybe he's gonna come in and say, well, you know, here's how we should do it. I don't want that either.
But he's only one vote.
Right.
Well, I know,
But you
But
gotta,
I don't wanna
you gotta,
hear-
you gotta look, the big picture, he's one vote.
I know he has a lot of experience, I know,
Yes,
I know. I came in having nothing, and
me too,
I don't know.
I have none either,
I just,
with park board, but.
right.
I
I'll
don't have any
admit it.
kids here either, and stuff, and I don't know. I guess the things that she wrote, I liked Sarah best. I don't know, that was my decision. I vote for Sarah, but it's up to everybody else what they vote for. who they
Well, I
vote
mean, I
for.
guess, if that's, it sounds like we've got some differing views, the way that would go is that somebody should make a motion and then get a second, and then we'll vote on one applicant, and if that doesn't get approved, then somebody else can make a motion on a different applicant, and if we can't, either one of them doesn't get approved, then we'll just forward, no recommendation to council, and the council can take a look at them. I mean, that's probably the easiest way to do it, and we don't have to, you know, you guys have made all good points, so there isn't any wrong choice really here, so.
Well, I think if we take to the council on the points we've made, you know, hopefully they've got, the mayor and the rest have their idea as well.
Mhm.
And bring up a few points like, yeah, you're right here, and you're correct here, but,
Right. Question is then, if the mayor doesn't have an idea who he does kinda want, and if we recommend somebody else, then he can overturn that too, right? Because the council
Yeah,
kinda
but
says yes.
he will go by, if there's a recommendation, the mayor will go by the recommendation.
Right.
Well,
Sure.
typically,
Typically.
typically.
Should.
I
But the
I mean, he
council
does
has to
have,
agree.
he does have the ultimate say.
Right, yeah,
That's the position of the mayor.
Sure.
He
Right.
can outrule the council on
right.
board position.
now, is it where it's a council, say we go with Sarah, that's
Mhm.
the general consensus, and I
Sure.
myself want Chris. Okay, goes to the council, and does the council then decide jointly, or the mayor just gets?
Typically, the mayor is the one who appoints.
The mayor.
Okay.
You know, and
So
we
the
do have a
discussion-
weak mayor form of government, so legally speaking, I suppose they could outvote the mayor, you know, if it was unanimous against
Okay.
him, but typically the mayor appoints, in this town at least, that's kind of how it works here. And usually it's, you know, 99% of the time, there's no issue. I know earlier this year, he did reject an appointment though, for an EDA member
He did.
spot. Now, he had his own reasons for that, and that was
Mhm.
fine, but you know, I don't know in this case, if you make a recommendation, I don't think he will reject it, but, because he doesn't really have a good reason to in this case. He had a better reason to do with the one he did earlier, so.
Right.
It's up to you guys. I'm just a
Well,
staff person.
Can we just, so we really need Chuck's opinion too, I mean, can we just take a vote pretty much just between us board, and then if we're hung up and we need Chuck's
Well-
decision, then
Well, you got five
we
here
already
tonight,
are,
so-
because
So-
if Chuck goes
So
to
Janet, you're
Chris,
gonna go
'cause
with.
you guys both kinda want Chris,
Well,
and us three are
I'm leaning more
suggesting
towards
Sarah.
Chris, and if you three got Sarah, Sarah's the majority, so Sarah'd be the one going to the council.
Right,
And then throw in the extra note saying, is there a chance we could have two added to this board?
Mhm.
And that's something the council will have to determine. If he goes, yeah, there's no reason why not,
Then we could go with.
then
Then
here's
we can
both.
go with both.
because we have some
Okay.
great people to go on to, so I guess
I'm,
that's what I would
I'm
lean
for
towards.
that, definitely.
If the council decides just to pick
Okay.
one, then we made a recommendation, if that's what the mayor wants to go with. You know, I'd be very satisfied with that as well.
I'm okay with that.
Somebody's gotta make a motion then.
I'll make a motion that we accept Sarah.
And also we need to recommend.
And if we can add another one, then we'll add Chris.
And then if we can add a second member, we will do that.
Chris would be the second choice.
Yes, exactly, yes, Chris Petrie would be the second choice. All right, do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Aye.
I can still move forward though, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
You got a
Carried.
majority, so.
It's a tough choice, they both were good applicants, so it's
It
great
is.
to have
No,
some good applicants,
I totally
isn't it?
agree.
Yeah.
Okay, 2021 captain fee schedule.
So this kind of segues back to what we talked about a little bit at the last meeting. I know Ronnie, and he's provided this information for you, and you should have received a number of sheets here, and hopefully you can read it okay. He's kind of got his notes on there for what he is, he had kind of gone a little bit, maybe I wouldn't say aggressive, but Ronnie knows that there was a substantial loss this year at the Aquatic Center, and that's, no, there's really no bones about that. And he's looking to try and achieve a little bit more balance with revenue there. So what he did was he followed up again, and he went through and created a couple of options. So if you go to that, I think it's the fourth page, he's got an option 1, and then he's got an option 2. And there's differing amounts, and there's differing amounts that would generate. The first option would generate, well, this is an estimate obviously, because it's based on what he did was he took the 2019 numbers of usage, because obviously 2020's numbers, we can't use those real accurately. So he took those numbers and, you know, basically with the smaller increase, you generate about $191,000, and with a little larger increase, you add about $2,000 to the take, which would be $193. So they're both within the realm of this, you know, similarity there. I don't know, Jan, if you wanted to talk about it a little bit more, maybe.
Well, his option 1 was basically moving everything up like $5. And then increasing the facility rental fee up 50. And then he also has this idea of, you know, trying to promote using the fundrailers by giving some food away in that, with it, but charging a little more to use it. But overall, it was just tempering that big increase on the family passes and single passes by only going up $5. So that one, we would be up about $29,000, a little more than that, over our 2019. Then the other one, he increased the family passes by $10, but then I think he left everything else at that $5 mark. And that one, you know, it only came up like 31,000, so I mean, it's only 2,000 difference, and he said for that, is it worth pushing everybody into that higher cost on the passes, so.
So he's got, on the last page, an increase across the board of $10, right in the upper left corner.
Yeah, I see
On the
that.
passes, on the membership passes.
Okay, so it's just, rather than across the board, it's just membership
Right.
passes.
The other things are kind of in that $5 range if you compare the two.
The other thing to take into account would be the implementation of that $6 daily pass.
Right.
Which we did not do this year because of
Right.
some of the issues, but
Mhm.
it was approved last year. So that one actually doesn't need to be approved.
Right.
It's already been approved. It's just, the increase in revenue would be implementing that as well, so.
Right. You know, last month he had talked about lessons going up to maybe 60, but he did a lot of surveys with pools around here, and nobody's that high, so he thought if he only tempered it and went $5 more.
Mhm.
So,
so that'd be 50.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, well, if you remember at the last meeting, you know, I was really bucking Ronnie on his prices, and I was pretty vocal about it. And then somebody had made a comment to me, and it kinda stuck to me. We pay a service for our parks, we pay a service for our pool, we pay a service for our fire department, we pay a service for our police department. Everybody in the community does. And their comment was, if people actually wanna use it, they're gonna pay for it. No matter what, whether it be if your house burns down, your fire department comes, you're gonna pay the bill no matter what it is. You're paying for a service, but you're paying a usage fee. And I agree, you're right. But I also agree, I like his option one, with the $5 across, instead of the $10 family pass. Cause you'll still get your families to sign up, and for raising it to $10 to only gain you a couple $1,000, let's try it, option one for a year. If it don't work, it's not enough, try it again. People don't mind minor increment increases, it's when you do huge. But I agree that it is a service. If you wanna use it, you're gonna pay for it, I agree, so.
So does the daily pass stay the same then?
It'll be
That's
$6
okay?
either way,
Okay,
option one or option two, it's $6.
still that's reasonable. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the feedback and I told Ronnie that too, the people that have come from out of town that I know said that $6 was so reasonable for daily pass. Especially when they're coming from,
And then one of our big losses
cities.
this year there was no season passes.
right,
People do love those.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
and-
they do.
you know.
Right, and I mean, that's a extremely good deal, if you use the pool a lot.
It is.
It's just like the golf membership or whatever, if you're doing a lot, it's a good deal, if you don't go, it's not, but why would you
No.
go?
Yep. If you got it, you'll go more. 'Cause,
Right. Yep.
Oh,
sure.
you wanna go for a half hour? Sure, why not? It's already paid for.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But, oh, I ain't gonna pay $6 for you to sit there for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
True.
you will sell the family passes.
no, I agree with that, that sounds good to me. What do you guys think?
Personally, option one, I think, is my choice as well. You're gonna show a minimal increase, and for an estimated $2,000 gain just in the numbers, wouldn't justify putting something out there, we went up $10 as a shock, you take $2,000 on a $200,000,
It's 1%.
that's 1%, that's not enough to try to push something
It's
further.
not gonna make or break it.
And
Yeah.
people are gonna buy it
And
either
you've
way,
got
but.
a tough 2020 this year, we don't know what
Yep.
2021's gonna bring.
Exactly.
Families' budgets are gonna change.
Yep.
If
You
it's,
don't
if it's
want-
$5 for a whole season, they're not gonna mind it as much.
No, so
Right.
you're not gonna, we're not asking the world of anything, so,
I agree.
so my
Okay.
opinion would be number one as well.
All right,
Janet, do you have any thoughts?
No, that's fine, I'm fine with one.
Okay. I just wanted to mention, before we approve that, it does segue into the next one down a little bit. So this is a thought process, so I've felt a similar way, we don't wanna increase, cost, the cost for residents as much. At the same time, we're looking at options to try and narrow our losses.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kinda like someone who owns a business, you wanna increase revenue, but you also have to watch your expenses. One of those is that we wanted to take a look at the operational hours and sort of tweaking things a little bit at the facility itself to see if there weren't some cost savings. And so some of those, and I don't know if Janet, if you have a list of those changes or not. Anyways, and if Ronnie was here, he could explain it better, but.
Talked about,
Yeah, go
like,
ahead.
shutting it down earlier, like the family swim or whatever, the open swim, earlier in the evening. Stewartville does their lessons in the evening, rather than during the day.
Okay.
So that might be a way for more families to use it in the evening. Then we would not have to have concessions open in the evening, which would save us wages there.
And slides would be able to be shut down as
Right, the
well.
Yep.
slides. I mean, those are some of the things he's been kinda kicking around,
Plus,
because,
evenings will be easier for some families to get their kids there.
That's right.
Right.
And the
Yeah.
parents can participate more.
And the staff is already there working, it's not like you have to bring them in early.
right.
right.
Cause that's when he said it was biggest expense during swimming lessons was having the staff there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When, you know, and then,
yeah. And, I mean, it would cut down some of that family swim time. And I don't know, maybe
The only
do
time
one
that-
family night a week or something like that.
the only time that's gonna affect is the really hot days.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I even think this year, you know, and I went to the pool with my nieces and nephews some this year, I mean, realistically, for most families, that, when we had it split this year, 12 to 3, 3 to 6, or whatever it was, most of them, 3 hours is fine.
yeah.
You know, and there's
Yeah.
there's a certain percentage that like to go for the whole time, every time, but most people that come, especially if they're under 10,
Right.
you know, 3 hours of swimming is,
Is a lot.
is
Yeah.
more than enough, they're exhausted,
Yeah.
they're in a bad mood, you know, everybody's like, oh, I
Yeah.
gotta get done with this, you know, and so, we're not looking at doing that split next year right now, we're looking at regular day. We felt like either a 12:30 to 5:30, or a, you know, 12 to 6, something like that would kind of be where we'd be looking at. Would, because most people, if they're gonna be there for 5 hours, they're gonna leave at 5:30 and go home and go have dinner. You know, if they live in town, for sure. And a lot of the folks who come from Rochester are the same way. They're going home at that time to go, you know, have dinner or whatever. So,
Right.
that's just one thing to keep in mind, is if, you know, and be open to, you know, if we implement some small revenue increases, we're also looking at trying to fine tune the hours a little bit, to try and see, cause what we're hoping to do, Ronnie and I would both like to try and see that loss cut in half next year.
Yeah.
And we know that realistically with the monthly passes, with the family passes, it'll help, because we'll have that baseline revenue. But, you know, if we can cut the loss from 110 to 55 or 60,000, it's obviously gonna play, you know, allow us to do way more things at the pool too.
Yes.
Because right now, we did what we had to do, we got the slides fixed, we really don't have money to do anything extra,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
So is that just something that the staff is gonna work on?
Well, we're gonna be working on that, and we'll work on setting new hours potentially all through the spring until, right when we get ready to do the PR and,
Yep.
that sort of
Yep.
thing. But,
He
so I don't
said-
need anything on that from you tonight,
He
but if
said
you guys
he would
are.
bring more information probably next month,
Sure.
you know, but.
Yeah.
But he just wanted you guys to start thinking of other little
Yeah.
things maybe we could do to just, you know, cut down on staffing or whatever too, so.
Well, this is gonna go back to what we have to trust our staff to know what is best, cause they're there every day. We're just part of the board,
Right.
we're not seeing all the numbers, all the,
Yeah.
everything that
Well,
goes on.
let Josh work with the managers to see
Yeah.
where they can best try to trim
Yep.
some corners.
And he did really good last year, because both my kids worked there, and I think Ben only worked half the time that he was supposed to, just because they would send kids home, you know, because there wasn't enough. So I think Josh did a really good job last year, figuring out what lifeguards should go home, who should do this, I mean, yeah, so they did pretty good.
Well, that's great,
From
no,
what
I
I've seen.
appreciate that. Yeah, I know, I mean, we're not trusting our employees, of course they do a good job, but we're
Right.
just trying to provide them some guidance on how we think.
Yeah.
it might-
Absolutely.
The other thing would be that eliminates like split shifts or anything like that,
Yeah.
and that's helpful to us as well,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, for sure.
And we do gotta keep the crossing guard. I know you
Well,
like.
I think that's the plan.
I
don't think there's
I know
any-
he always wants,
Yeah.
that's one of the first things that he wants to cut, and you just cannot
Oh,
cut that.
you
Until we
don't
put in the
do that.
Egler Memorial Bridge over 57, then we
Oh,
can get rid of it,
something.
but until then, you know.
Yeah, right, no,
You know what I'm
definitely need the
saying?
crossing
No, I
guard.
do.
One injury.
Yeah, I guess the one thing I'm looking for then, if you guys are comfortable with option one,
Yeah.
we need a motion on
Make a
that.
motion.
And what we'll do is then Ronnie and I will integrate that into the fee schedule that the
Okay.
city council approves in, usually in December, early January, and then we won't have to worry about this anymore, so.
Right.
I know that'll be a load off Ronnie's mind, so.
Just the one more comment I'm gonna throw in there is, to increase some of the revenue or to decrease some of the loss, I think we'd be better off to entertain looking at the out-of-town, non-resident.
Raising it?
Would be the part that would go up of anything.
Yeah. I agree.
That would be,
You could raise that one to $10 or $15. They're gonna, non-residents.
because, and part of it, I was gonna ask questions, you know, as Josh is opening to 2 sessions this summer, and, you know, are you local or not local is kind of what that website was. And I think Denny started opening up a percent where he said, you know, 90's gonna be like a 90-10 or 80-20.
He got more non-residents.
And I think the comment was he got more non-resident than he got resident. So the potential's there.
And part of that was because the residents were so used to their passes.
And Rochester was closed.
And Rochester,
Okay.
and now Rochester's closing one of their pools for sure this year.
Yeah.
Right, Spring Lake Park, so that's another thing we
Silver
talked
Lake.
about,
Silver Lake
we, you know,
Park.
Silver Lake Park, yeah, Spring Lake Park, what am I thinking of?
Start with Master Close.
Some kind of park. No, they're closing that one permanently, so we're actually talking about marketing directly in Rochester through the school district over there.
So we have the opportunity, not that it's gotta be set this yet, but I know it's probably set pretty soon.
So
to
right now,
increase
you're
the
looking at
resident.
185 is the new rate for residents and 215 for non. Do you wanna raise the non to 225? 220? Is that what you're thinking?
And right now it's 210, so it's a $5 increase right now, and I mean, I could see 220 as possible. maybe.
220?
Yeah, just, you know, a little bit can go a long way.
It's an extra $5 for.
I mean, I will say, I don't think there's a absolute ton of those. Look at, there were 57 non-resident passes, so that'd be an extra
That's family, and then-
$570 or
But then
550 or
resident,
something.
the non-resident singles is 100, if you even raise that to 105.
Cause I think that's, again, that's where your split is, and you gotta keep in mind that
Mhm.
your city people are saying, this is on my taxes, not
Whatever
theirs.
they're paying, yep.
Right.
So there should be a larger difference between
Right.
the two, in my opinion. And this is a chance to be able to do that.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm fine with me, whatever you guys think. If you wanna go with 220 for the non-resident memberships for families, and then
105 for.
105 for the non-resident single, I mean, it's okay with me. And we'll see what we get, like you guys said before too. You know, if the numbers just drop off dramatically, then we'll have to tinker with it again. you know,
Sure, but it doesn't hurt to try.
That's right. I mean, it's really not a huge percentage increase if you look at it.
No.
You know, from 210 to 220 is, you know, 3%,
Again, that's only,
4%. Right.
it's only coming to the pool one more time.
Right, right, really it is, yeah.
And if they perceive this pool as a value of, what a nice pool or a nice facility, you know, what's another $10? It's,
For a summer of fun.
yeah, for
For a
summer
whole
fun,
summer,
it's,
yeah.
you know, and we might find out that, you know, we have an increased amount of passes that we sold over past years, even though we did go up. We
I
don't
think
know.
if we market it a little bit better
Yes.
in the community in Rochester without having that pool on the east side now, I know St. Charles is gonna try and steal some over there, but maybe that'll push a few more from the west side
See,
over to us.
that's,
Mhm.
yeah,
Alright.
so, and I think that, yeah, I'd be happy with the 220,
Okay.
I
for
would-
the family and 105 for the single.
So I would make a motion that we go with option one with the increase on the non-resident membership and for family and single. That extra $5.
Alright,
Actually, to the 220 to the.
To the
and
220 and
105.
then 105, yes.
Yeah.
That would be my motion.
alright, second?
I'll second that.
Alright, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, motion carried.
Good point, Greg.
Yes.
Every now and then I
Once in a while.
have.
Now you can stay another
And-
month.
So that means I can keep it, good 3 more years after my term is up?
No, a month.
Oh, okay, well.
So terms that expire are Coleman, so we'll just have to wait to hear from him. And then, down to old business, Meadowland Park Shelter construction update. We
He
heard
gave me
anything from
that,
Ronnie
yes.
except?
He said everything is basically completed, they've finished the electrical out there, and security lights are in, and he ordered the tables.
Awesome, that Scott was gonna buy.
That Scott's gonna buy.
Okay.
He said some benches for those tables or something were still on back order, but otherwise, it's basically all there, ready to go.
Nice.
So,
Perfect.
yeah.
That's wonderful. All right, Christmas tree lighting.
It's Friday, isn't it?
Is this Friday? It's like,
Is it Friday?
I look
Yeah,
at the
it's
memos
It's
and I'm
coming
like,
quick,
oh,
Thanksgiving's next
no.
week, so.
I hate to tell you this, but he said today he's having trouble finding a Christmas tree yet.
Oh,
He was
no.
calling, he's
Yeah.
gonna call Houston's today because he said he hasn't seen any out in their lot. Well, he hasn't been in town now this week, but he said,
I was just at Houston.
otherwise
They-
he was
they don't
gonna
have
send
it
one of
yet.
the guys into Rochester
have
to
it
get
yet?
a tree.
So I talked to Charlie,
Mm-hmm.
and he said one way or another there will be a tree there.
Well,
You
they
did.
said if anything, they were gonna get our old one that we used
He
to
said
set
it
up
would have
in
to be
City Hall and put
artificial.
the artificial one up just so they could light one.
But he said, yeah, he talked to Ronnie and he said one way or another there will be
Yeah,
one there.
but
He
that's-
goes,
That's
they have
fine
to-
with me, I don't think it has to be, well, this is really just for, I mean, I don't know why, I haven't seen many around yet, though, it's weird, you know,
Well, it's a little early,
Yeah.
I guess.
I suppose.
For some, yeah.
I thought
Next
about
week,
that.
though, it's just a month till Christmas, that's not
Right,
too
it is.
early, really.
It's just
Right.
sneak up
It is.
fast.
So if it
Okay,
gets there,
so we'll
who's
get there.
decorating it?
So I reached out to our Luther League, And, if they can't, then, SBCLA, a couple of them board members will do it. So, and who did you get to come as a pastor or?
We talked, Pastor Amanda Boss from the Presbyterian.
Oh, great, okay.
She's new, so we got her, we got the band again.
Great.
Dan is gonna be the MC, and,
Okay.
you know, I thought about this, and maybe next
No,
year,
get
we
in
gotta think
trouble.
about, Randy Carlson for MC. You know, he was so active in the community with the
Oh, with the newspaper, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have just kinda totally forgot about him, and I just thought about him, I was like, he should be one.
Yeah, let's do that,
We'll
for
have to
sure.
think about that for next year.
Absolutely, yep, hands down.
Are you gonna have it, right?
Perfect,
Too
And
late.
okay.
somebody advertises you, so we're
Too
not
late,
gonna-
you've already got your speech written, right, Dan?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. You know me and speeches.
Yeah, right.
So, all right, well, that sounds good, well, then I'll make sure that the kids are there by, like 5:20. And now the lights, are they here? Are they at the park? Anybody know?
For decorating?
Yeah.
You know, that's something maybe Jan can check into and find out.
Yeah, I don't know if,
Do I need to walk back here and
You-
look in the shelves?
They're
No,
not,
no.
because
I
I
think
know
the- I think they
I
probably
brought
have
them
the
to
park
Ronnie
shop, I would
last year.
guess.
that's what
bank.
I'm guessing too, that Ronnie's got him someplace at his
Yeah.
shop. but
Yeah, I
don't
would get
know
the-
that.
You'd have to ask Charlie. Charlie's gonna talk to you tomorrow about that.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
fine, yeah.
I was
And-
talking to him today, so.
Yeah. If
But you
anything,
said you're
I
gonna have
can
the kids
call
there at
Chris
5:20,
too.
so we'll have lights there before that, so.
All right, so,
Yeah, 'cause he lighted up the summer and he starts at 6.
Yeah.
we were there at like 5:15 last time, and we were done by 5:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
The weather's supposed to be decent, I think, on Friday. so
It
that should be
is,
good.
yeah.
So hopefully we get a good turnout. I, handed out 35 signs,
Nice.
You gotta make sure they stay far enough apart now.
put it
There's
out
government
on
rules.
Facebook, in different groups.
We put it on the
Right.
city page also, so we'll do
Yeah.
that again before the end of the week here, so.
Is it out on the electronic sign?
You know, I don't know if
I
it is.
think
Yes, it is.
I gave
I
her the
think I saw it.
information.
I think
Yeah,
I saw it on
I saw
there.
it today.
Okay, I didn't notice, but yeah.
So if they wanna have the lights for me up there, that'd be awesome, I'll just run up there Friday.
Okay, all right.
The question I have now, with the new COVID rules, even if it is outdoors, how many people, you can't have too many people inside the gazebo.
Stretch your arms out and do the best you can with it, and family units can be in a group, but other than that, they should try to separate, and we're gonna do the best we can with it.
No, I was just curious, I just wanna make sure that
I
nobody.
mean, it sounds, you know,
That way
Governor
we don't get in
Walz is
trouble.
gonna have a big thing tomorrow, and who knows what he says tomorrow, but we'll do the best we can.
Hopefully he doesn't cancel it on us.
Well, I don't think we're gonna cancel it, maybe we'll just have a
Outdoor.
little bit
Yeah.
smaller group, whatever.
Regardless.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, how's the band gonna play? Do they have to be
They-
60
They have
apart?
mouthpieces and
Yeah.
Yeah.
stuff on their equipment, they play all the time.
Could be about the last performance for them though, too, who knows?
Could be, so.
Mhm.
After this week, it sounds like schools are
Yeah.
just about
Yeah.
done, so, but,
Yeah.
Well, not all.
well, we'll see.
Huh.
You never know.
Yeah.
I think this is the last school district that's almost the last one that's still doing anything in person right now, I think.
Not in Minnesota.
Well, no, but in this area though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
'cause I know
Triton-
almost everybody else has gone distance learning only.
Triton hasn't gone, have they? They're still hybrid, I believe.
I don't know, but I was
I
told
think
today that
Byron
it's
shut
about the
down,
last
I
one,
know
Yeah,
so.
Byron did, yeah.
Anyways,
Uh,
not stuff we can
Alright.
control, we'll do the best we can with it,
No.
right?
I just wanted to make sure there was nothing we were doing.
No, I don't think there's any problem, we'll just split up the best we can and.
So we'll
you
just
know.
probably have like you, last year I don't think, the pastor wasn't up in there, was he?
Yeah.
Was he in there?
Mhm.
Was
Yep.
he in the gazebo? Okay.
Whole family.
So, okay, so we'll have
Yeah.
her, her husband probably will come, and the band, and
Mhm.
that would be about it.
Well, I mean, I'm planning on being there and
Well,
I
up in
think
the
my wife will
gazebo,
come
though.
too, yeah, but.
Any fireworks available from the, Festival Park you could shoot off
No, wouldn't that be cool?
Well, we didn't order them this year.
after the lighting, didn't you? Okay.
I think they
You know,
saved, I think
and I
they saved the money this year,
Right.
so.
We don't have a permit for that.
And I thought of another thing too, it'd be
Oops.
nice to extend the lighting. I've been over to Lake City and they have a gazebo and they have a tree in there and they light up the gazebo and that would be kinda cool too, to light up the park a little bit instead of just the tree up there. So maybe in the future.
That'd be
Well, something to run past Ronnie.
yeah,
Absolutely.
there's so much vandalism,
Yeah.
and that's what
Yeah.
always,
Well, there's cameras up there now, so that helps.
That doesn't stop the
When
band.
they're
That,
working.
that don't matter,
no.
Helps a little bit.
which is kinda sad.
We all wear masks.
They all wear masks now.
Yes, perfect.
Ah, jeepers.
Where Greg is from in Iowa, the tree in the gazebo gets stolen every year.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's Iowa though,
Yeah,
you
that's-
know,
that's
they're
the
tough
problem.
down there, you know, rough, tough
They don't
cookies.
wear masks down there, so.
Yeah.
Well,
They do
do
now.
after today.
Yeah, now
Yeah,
they do.
no,
After
yeah.
today.
6
All
months
right.
later.
Do you guys got anything else that you'd like to talk about? No? Next meeting is, 12/15.
And we'll
Or
just have to,
December 15th,
we'll just have to
sorry.
see how it goes, you know, depending on
That's what I wondered.
if the governor really does pull the plug, then we may just cancel that meeting if
Okay.
it's necessary, because I think that's why I'm really glad we handled as much as we could tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because, we wanna make sure everybody's safe too, so.
Okay, yep.